Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be looking at your next era, who you're going to become in this next era of your life, and what your story kind of is going to be in this next era of your life. So please be aware this is a general reading, to only take what resonates and leave the rest. And to please also be aware, when I'm reading into future energies, the future energies are based on the present moment as a kind of possibility into the future based on the present moment. So if you like what I hear, you can take the information. If you don't like what you hear, you can choose to change this for yourself in the future. So now I'm going to show you your crystals. For pile number 1, we have Citrine. For pile number 2, we have this chrysocolla malachite crystal. And for pile number 3, we have green Aventurine. I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile. Pick whichever pile you're most drawn to. If you're drawn to more than one pile, you can pick 2 or all of them. Your intuition will always know best. If you're done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below. Then I will see you at your reading. Hi there, my pile number 1s. If you chose the Citrine crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at your next era, who you're going to become in this next era, and what your kind of story is going to be like. Please be aware this is a general reading, to only take what resonates and leave the rest. And please be aware, for future readings, whatever I say, if you don't like it, you can change it in the future, because the future is not set in stone, okay? And if you do like what I say about the future, you can go ahead and take on that information. Okay, so you chose the card, Our Ancient Future. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of your cards for you. Okay, for your cards, we have Fire with Solaris Sublime. We have Manifestia. We have Gracious Receptivity. And lastly, we have Alignment. Beautiful. So for your tarot cards, we have the Justice card, we have the Queen of Cups, we have the Fool, we have the Empress, and lastly, we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, my pile number 1s, now that we have your cards laid out, I see exactly who you're going to be in your next era and what your story is going to be like, okay? So I'm already feeling the energies. This is my pile of royalty. If you've never watched my readings before, I always have a specific pile in my readings that comes up as this royalty energy, queen, king vibes. Just very like a rich energy, and it doesn't have to be physically rich, rich in soul. Royalty kind of energy where people always put you on a pedestal and kind of want to give to you, but in this case, I'm seeing the universe wants to give to you in this next era of your life. So be open to receiving in this next era of your life. I'm seeing you become a lot more liberated in terms of your emotions in this next era of your life. You just feeling liberated, not feeling much kind of holding you down or holding you back. It's like you're truthful and honest with what you're feeling and your emotions, and you're kind of compassionate towards yourself in this next era of your life. Really just loving yourself, really just evolving as a person in your own journey. And this doesn't have to be something specific, but I see a lot of the energies of like you evolving, you growing, you having a lot of growth in your own personal life, your own personal endeavors, you as a person growing, but also what you want to put work into grows, what you're passionate about grows in this next era of your life. So I do see a lot of growth, a lot of you kind of evolving, you liberating yourself of whatever was holding you back in the past, okay? So I also see a lot of miracles playing out, in this next era of your life, in this next phase of your life. Kind of like spirit, the universe, wanting to give you a lot of miracles that help you kind of enjoy your life is what I'm picking up with the Fool card. I pick up like this energy of you being on a new journey in this next era of your life where it's like a new beginning type of energy, but it helps you feel happier, more passionate about life. Just feel this fiery energy of like creation is the feeling I get here with the Ace of Wands and the Fire card. And the Citrine crystal is also a crystal of, self-worth, that fiery energy to create. But it's also a crystal of success. So, since you chose this crystal, I see this next era, phase of your life, you feeling a lot more uplifted, you feeling a lot more passionate about life, you feeling a lot more of this kind of magical energy in you. Like, I just want to create the life of my dreams. I just want to create whatever I'm passionate about in my life. And it doesn't have to specifically be something specific, but like the energy of creation. I want to create happy, beautiful memories on earth, so I'm going to create that. I want to create a business, so I'm going to create that. I want to create a fashion line, I'm going to create that. Like that kind of energy. Just examples of the energy, but doesn't have to be exactly. So I see you finding a lot more passion, joy for life, this kind of new energy towards life. Like every day is a new beginning, the sun rises, and I'm excited for a brand new day. Like that's a feeling I get from you in this new era of life, like very motivated, very passionate about life. You also having a lot of wisdom with your passions in some way is something I'm seeing. I don't know why I'm seeing 37, 38, 39. Like the number 38 is really sticking out to me, the number 39 as well. And we also have 8s here. So I just saw like spirit show me like a vision of 37, 38, 39. I'm not exactly entirely sure what that means, but for some of you it's a specific age. Not for all of you, for some of you. For some of you, 37, 3 plus 7 is 10. Okay, 10 is like an ending, but also a new beginning and an excess of energy. 3 plus 8 is 11. So I see that as like that 1111 number, you kind of going on a new journey, kind of going towards what you wish. Well, it makes sense because we have the Fool card with new beginnings, so that makes sense. And then 3 plus 9 is 12. So 1, 2 kind of reminds me of that energy of like taking the next steps towards where you're meant to be and manifesting that life for yourself. But to me, like the numbers 7, 8, 9 stick out as well because 7 is a number of luck, but 8 is a number of abundance, and 8 shows up here twice. And success, you know what I mean? You even chose the citrine crystal. And 9 is a number of endings of cycles. So I see in this next era of your life, you're ending a cycle, but at the same time going into a new beginning. Okay, a new beginning of life where you feel much happier, where you feel like your life is a lot more sweeter, more pleasurable, more joyful, and you're just feeling a lot more passionate about life in this new era of your life. You're feeling great about life is what I see. You're feeling lucky, but you're also feeling abundant. And abundance just doesn't have to just be with wealth. It can be abundance of joy in your life, abundance of love, abundance of you being happy, you know what I mean? So you being at peace. That's the feeling I get from your pile, my pile number ones. This next era of your life is going to be something completely different to what you've once experienced. It's like a new kind of beginning, a new kind of journey that seems completely different to what you've once experienced. That is much more sweet, pleasurable, joyful, and full of passion and this creation kind of energy, but also you being more compassionate and graceful towards yourself in this next phase of your life is what I see. I'm kind of picking up like you've been through a void stage in your life for some time, and it's like spirit is kind of mentioning it like a winter phase or winter period of your life where things just aren't really growing. You know, like when we look at the phase of winter, things aren't really growing. You're kind of just going within, being very internal. That kind of energy. Winter stages of life can also be a release kind of energy, and now you're coming into the spring phase of your life in this new era of your life where it's like a new adventure to jump into. It's a new phase of your life that is going to be full of new beginnings, new energy, newness, this energy of creating something new than you've once experienced, forging your own unique path. The feeling I get here is you're paving your own unique path and you're not following anyone. You're going to your own beat of your own drum. That's the feeling I get. Kind of creating your reality as you go along, manifesting the reality of your dreams in this next era of your life and being open to receiving it. I see you kind of going out there and grabbing opportunities that come towards you that you feel passionate about in this next era of your life. So it's kind of like this energy of like, oh, I see love there. That person would be a good romantic partner for me. I'm grabbing that opportunity now. Oh, I see an opportunity for me to make money there. I'm going to grab this opportunity now. But I see in this next era of your life, you are kind of just being your own unique, authentic self, where you're paving your own unique path and you're not letting anyone tell you where to go or how to create the reality you want. It's kind of like you're being your own leader, following your own heart is what I feel here. but also allowing yourself to shine in your uniqueness, allowing yourself to really take up space in this next phase of your life, in this next era of your life. Treating yourself like royalty is what I see here. Spoiling yourself, you know what I mean? Treating yourself like a king, a queen. That kind of energy is what I see here in this next era and phase of your life. So you know how I spoke about the winter phase period of your life? I think it's been a while since you were in that. Healing a lot is what I see. But at the same time, I feel like a part of you was like kind of carrying other people's emotions or emotional baggage. I feel like you're very empathic, my pal number ones. And often you can quite pick up on other people's emotions and kind of carry their emotional or physical baggage for them because you feel, empathy towards them. But I see in this next phase of your life, it's not that we shouldn't be empathetic towards people. We should definitely be empathetic towards people, but sometimes we don't always have that mental or emotional capacity to kind of like hold that space for someone. Always, we can check our own mental and physical and emotional well-being. If we're capable of giving that to that person, then we can, but we can't pour from an empty cup. So I see that being in this next era of your life, you're not pouring from an empty cup and carrying everyone else's emotional pain or baggage for them. And we can be supportive to those we love, but we can't exactly carry their pain for them. You get what I mean? So I'm not in any way saying that we shouldn't be empathetic towards people in this next era of our life, but I just see you holding more energetic boundaries or more like emotional boundaries, if that makes sense. Or it doesn't have to be even carrying other people's emotional pain. It can be like paying for people all the time and not getting anything in return. You get what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be emotional, but it can be like that kind of energy. You get what I mean? So I see in this next phase of or this next era of your life, you being more honest with your communication, honest with what you can provide, empathetically, and you're still this graceful, empathetic, loving person, but just holding more boundaries, standing more in your truth, speaking up more for yourself in this next era or phase of your life, holding more boundaries in this next era of your life, but also being that compassionate, loving, graceful self that you always are going to be. So it's not like you're letting go of that part of yourself, but just balancing out the energy more with the justice card, because justice to me is sometimes balance, like balancing two energies out in this case of what I see here. I see you also following your own inner wisdom of like what you are capable of giving in that day. Like let's say you're at work, for example, and you can't physically give more, like your to-do list is cramped up already, holding more boundaries for that and putting it to the next day. And that's the feeling I get, like this next phase or era of your life is you're going to be a lot more balanced, following your own inner wisdom, listening to your body, your soul, of what you can have the capacity for. So with the Empress card, I kind of just see this next era of your life, you kind of going with the flow, holding space for that passion to come through, but not also overworking yourself or over booking your schedule, if that makes sense. you're making more time for like me time, self-care, like I need rest too, I'm a human too, like that kind of energy. And with that energy of like you holding that boundary, you're able to have more passion for the things that are important in your life, is what I see in this next era of your life. So it doesn't have to be completely like out there. I just see it as like a balancing out of your energies, my pal number ones, where you're able to receive more. And when you're able to receive more in this next era of your life, you're going to be able to overflow onto others when needed, if that makes sense. And you're going to have more time to have that passion really come through, because sometimes when we are burnt out, we can struggle to find that passion or motivation for life. But I see this next era of your life being in alignment, being balanced out, as we see here in this card. I see you kind of just being in alignment to creating your deepest desires, your deepest dreams. I see you kind of transforming yourself and your own life in this next era of your life, and you just becoming more graceful, more peaceful, more passionate about life, but also receiving more. I see you transforming yourself in this next era of your life like a butterfly, and really coming out of your cocoon and kind of like taking up space, being that queen king energy, and like believing in yourself in this next era and phase of your life. I see in this next era of your life, your future self is kind of guiding you here, as we see the wisdom codes coming through her head here. Guiding you on what to create with the kind of shell here, with the pearl. It's like a pearl shell that usually represents fertility. Since it's next to the fire card, it's like your future self in this next era or phase of your life, already from now, is guiding you on what to create, is guiding you with wisdom on what to do next, on what steps to take next, on what to be passionate about. And this is going to come through in urges of passion and motivation, your future self's guidance. And if your future self is telling you to rest, you're going to listen to that wisdom. If your future self is going to tell you to create, you're going to listen to that wisdom. And there's going to be this more balanced energy in this next era of your life. And the next era of your life, where I said something about 37, 38, 39 could be like your future self's age of like from when they're sending that guidance, if that makes sense. If some of you are quite younger, is this feeling of this next era is really going to influence your future self, where your future self is really going to thank you for everything you've put into this next era of your life. I just see you really blooming in this next era of your life, and your future self thanking you for whatever you create in this next era of your life. Your future self being really grateful for it, and it adding to your future self's life, okay? So I see this next era of your life, like I mentioned, you becoming more graceful, more empathetic towards yourself and others, but balancing that energy out, being more in your own truth, listening to yourself, your intuition, your own internal guidance, your own body, your own soul. I see you listening to the guidance your future self gives you and creating the life of your dreams in this next era of your life. I see you holding yourself to a higher standard and kind of like treating yourself like royalty is what I see, and believing in yourself, believing you're worthy of receiving. I see you being in more of alignment in this next phase of your life and transforming, and I see you kind of manifesting the life of your dreams. I see you becoming more passionate, more joyful, and this kind of being a new beginning energy. So that was your reading, my pal number ones, on your next era of your life. I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! Hi there, my pal number twos. If you chose this Malachite Chrysocolla crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at your next era of life, who you're going to become, and what your story is going to be like, okay? So please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave the rest. And please also be aware with future energies, we're reading based on the current energies as kind of like a prediction or possibility into the future. So if there is anything you do not like me say, you can always have the power to change this. And if you do like the information I bring, you can take this on as you wish. Okay, so we have the card Starseer. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards for you. Okay, so for your cards, we have Journey to Wholeness. I absolutely love this card. It's so beautiful. We have High Heart Chakra with Ecstatic Bliss. We have Home. And lastly, we have Throat Chakra with Express Your Truth. Okay, for your tarot cards, we have the Chariot. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Lovers. And lastly, we have the Moon. Okay, my pal number twos, now that we have your cards laid out, I see exactly what your next era is going to be, okay? So I'm kind of picking up on the energy. Right now you've been healing a lot, and it has been a journey of kind of like this uncomfortable growth is what I pick up on straight away from your reading. This kind of period of uncomfortable growth, almost like growing pains, when you're kind of feeling uncomfortable in the kind of healing that has been happening, or yeah, like that's the feeling I get, like with the healing that has been going on. I feel like you've been trying to find your own sense of power within yourself in this, phase of your life. And there has been a lot of things you've been healing from, but also growth that has been happening in your life where you've been really nurturing yourself and your own emotional state is something I see here. And I feel like this period of growth has been a little bit uncomfortable, but also scary at the same time, but also irritating at the same time, if that makes sense. But I feel like in this phase of your life right now, I feel like this is the last bit of healing until, you come to wholeness, like with this card here. And we see a lotus flower here. So, the lotus flower represents that kind of growth and that transformation of being in a really low place, because the lotus flower starts off as a seed in the mud, and the mud is a representation for the darkness we go through as humans, you know what I mean? The kind of pains and hurts we go through. And Spirit is showing me lightning. So to me, lightning sometimes represents like strong emotions that kind of like rain down, strong heavy emotions, and like sometimes it can represent things falling apart in our life in the beginning of our life, or like traumas, if that makes sense. But now Spirit is showing me a rainbow. So you, like this lotus, are coming into this rainbow stage of your life after the healing, after the storms in your life, and you're growing like a beautiful lotus flower, because like after the lotus flower grows from the mud, it goes into the water. The water is a representation of us nurturing and healing ourselves. And right now you're in the water, like we see here, healing yourself and feeling those feelings and growing. And then after that, the lotus flower is above the water and blooms into a beautiful lotus flower. In this case, it's a pink lotus flower. So I see this as like you blooming in a way in this next era or phase of your life, but also becoming more loving, more gentle with yourself, but also coming to wholeness, as we see here in this card. So this card, talks about a woman from the Lemurian times. So this woman like painted these oracle cards based on the Lemurian times, things like that. So she was basically half octopus, half human. I don't really know how it came about, because there's a different mix of stories of how these half beings came about in the Lemurian times. That's not important, but what is important is she was in this like immense amount of pain, as the kind of guidebook mentioned, like how this woman saw this vision of her. She was in this immense kind of pain and not like feeling great, not feeling whole. And sometimes these half beings went through a lot of physical ailments. And that's not to say you're going through that, but I'm just explaining the story behind it. Okay, so they went through a lot of things that didn't make them feel comfortable in their own skin. You know what I mean? As we can see, she's half octopus, half human. But when the lady painted this painting, she was sending like this healing energy from love, like this woman coming back to her heart. She was sending like this healing energy towards the painting while she was painting it. And, these beautiful rainbows started coming out as a result of it, even in the water. So there's this feeling of like, you may have been in a stage of your life of uncomfortable periods of growth, and this feeling of like maybe not fitting in, or this feeling of maybe not feeling quite whole within yourself, always feeling like you need something else there to fill up that void inside of you. But now in this next era or phase of your life, there's a lot of healing that takes place, and as a result, beautiful rainbows appear, like I mentioned, to your storms, and you're starting to feel a lot more whole. You're starting to come back to love, to yourself, back to a sense of wholeness within. Okay, and we have a star on this lotus flower, and also a star here, a person climbing up the star. So I see this as you truly shining in this next era or phase of your life, like a bright shining star. Okay, I see this as you shining in this next era of your life, and you starting to understand the feeling of like you shining and you deserving to feel like you shine. You starting to notice talents in yourself in this next era of your life after becoming whole. You starting to notice how much of a light you are to others is what I see here as well, because the star is like the light in the night sky. You also starting to notice how much you shine in your star qualities, how many star qualities you have. That's the feeling I get here. I feel like you're going to take baby steps towards your own star qualities, towards you shining like a star, towards you really having recognition, towards you healing as well, because the star card represents healing. I'm just reading it intuitively since we see two stars here. The star card also represents hope. So I see this as you being more hopeful in this next phase of your life. Okay, and shining like a bright star, noticing all your qualities that shine out. I see this next phase of your life, this next era of your life, you're going to question a lot and kind of like heal a lot in this next phase of life and come to wholeness. And I also see you kind of healing insecurities that prevent you from truly shining like a star and truly feeling like you can stand out in some way. I see in this next era or phase of your life you letting go of a lot of fears and kind of summoning your own sense of power, your own sense of self-worth in this next phase of your life, but also trusting your instincts. Spirit is showing me the wolf. The wolf is a very powerful kind of being. And also the wolf trusts its instincts. And that makes sense since we see the moon card here. The moon card represents trusting our intuition, following our hearts, trusting our instincts, trusting our intellect, you know what I mean? Trusting our emotions as well, because our emotions are quite powerful. Trusting our intuition. So I see that in this next era of your life, you becoming more in touch with your own intuition, what your instincts are telling you, you becoming more in tune with your own emotions and what they're trying to tell you, because each deep emotion is trying to teach us something, okay? And that is what I see in this next era of your life. You not shaming your emotions, even when they're very deep and you can't quite understand it, but letting your emotions guide you like a teacher, okay? Because just like any type of emotion, it teaches us something about ourselves. So like when we get triggered, our triggers show us where our deep wounds are that need to be healed. When we get angry, our anger is showing us where we need to hold boundaries and express our truth, as we see here in the Express Your Truth card. When we feel resentment, same thing. Boundaries need to be held for that kind of specific thing. Okay, if we start to get jealous or envious, then that emotion is teaching us what we want to create for ourselves, where we don't quite feel like we can have it. Those are just kind of examples, but each emotion has a purpose and shows us something deeper about ourselves, okay? So I see that in this next era of your life, you becoming more compassionate and loving towards yourself with each and every emotion you're feeling. It's like you're starting to become more accepting of yourself in this next era or phase of your life. And I see in this next era or phase of your life, you also just becoming more patient, more loving, more in tune with the energies of love. And the type of love I mean is not just normal type of love. It's a big type of love here with the high heart chakra and also the home card. Look how big her heart is here. So it's like all this healing you're doing right now is influencing this next phase or era of your life where your heart is able to be bigger towards the types of love that are going to love you back, if that makes sense. So I see in this next era or phase of your life, you're going to feel a lot more loving, and you're going to feel a lot more love towards yourself, but also others. As a result of the heart healing that has taken place, it's like you have more capacity to love in this next era of your life, and you have more capacity to create deep, relationships or connections with people in general, not just romantic, but I do see in this next era of your life a significant romantic connection, if that's something you were looking for. If you're single right now, then this could come in this next era of your life. If you are in a connection right now, then perhaps you could be leveling up in this connection, or this connection is significant to this next era of your life, to the growth you have. As we see a couple getting married here, perhaps that could be in this next era or phase of your life. perhaps what you're climbing the ladder to, as we see here, taking the baby steps towards. But I just see relationships and connections being a big part of this next era of your life, where you are having more capacity to love others, yourself, but also receive love from others, a big kind of love. And it's not the small type of love we receive from people. It's a big type of love that kind of like heals your heart, and you can feel it deeply in your heart and your soul. A lot of soul connections, soul family meetings is what I see here with the home card. Perhaps some of you could even be moving homes in this next era or phase of your life. Or Spirit is showing me transportation. Some of you could be getting new cars, things like that. But I also see it as like people that feel like home to you. You feeling a lot more safer in this next era or phase of your life, in your own body, in your own soul, like on earth, and you being a lot more patient with life, trusting the timing of your life, trusting that even though you don't have something you want now physically, it's like you're filling that kind of want or desire with love towards yourself, if that makes sense. And you're trusting the kind of like universe that you are going to take the baby steps towards where you want to be, toward your dreams, with the star showing up twice. Okay, so I see that very heavily, and I see your ancestors helping you out a lot in this next era of your life. Take the baby steps towards your dreams with the star, and towards shining like a star. Okay, I see a lot of significant friendships in this next era or phase of your life as well. So a lot of significant, connections and things like that is what I see in this next era of your life. And I also see you being more connected to your inner child in this next era of your life, like you kind of allowing your inner child to come through, allowing yourself to play more, allowing yourself to have fun more in this next era or phase of your life. So that is what I see here. But I also see a lot of decisions being made in this next era or phase of your life, where you're trusting your intellect, but also your own intuition and what your heart is saying. Okay, so I see this next era or phase of your life, it's like your heart is just opening to infinite possibilities, to whatever can come towards you. Okay, and I also see in this next era of your life starting to kind of feel like a paradise, your life starting to feel like everything you need is within you, within your heart, you know what I mean? You just starting to feel a lot more peaceful, a lot more loved, a lot more loving in this next era or phase of your life, where you have more capacity to see the beauty in life, see the beauty in yourself, but also see the beauty in others. And I'm not just talking about physical beauty, I'm talking about like the feelings we get from life. You honoring the feelings of life more, because it's like even the darkest moments in life teach us something greatly about ourselves, teach us our own power, and kind of like show us the beautiful moments of life and how grateful we should be for that. You know what I mean? So I see you understanding the kind of full spectrum of life in this next era of your life, but also understanding like that you see the beauty in life and you appreciate the beautiful moments more, if that makes sense. I'm seeing in this next era or phase of your life, you also starting to have more confidence in yourself. You starting to embrace all parts of yourself. Like I said, with the inner child, there's this feeling of like your inner child coming out, your weird side coming out. And I don't mean weird in a bad way, but I mean like your quirky side coming out, and you really starting to embrace all parts of yourself, bringing yourself to wholeness in this next era of your life. And I see it kind of like this energy of like, I mentioned this kind of analogy in another reading, and it's coming back to me a few readings ago. I mentioned like Kali Uchis' song where she's like, I'm the sweetest peach, but not everybody likes peaches. So I see that kind of analogy here again, where you love yourself more and you've kind of brought yourself to wholeness and you're kind of letting yourself be your true self. Even if people don't accept that self, you accept that self, if that makes sense. So it's like, if you can be the sweetest peach of them all, but people don't like peaches, then you're not going to feel insecure or unworthy within yourself. You're going to find people that love peaches. You get what I mean? So that's the feeling I get in this next era or phase of your life. You unapologetically being you, being more confident in yourself, more uplifted, more inspired by life. I see this next era of your life like you just embracing yourself and knowing that you're not for everyone, but the right people will love you and love you greatly is what I see in this next era of your life. And I see you kind of putting the crown back on your head with the home card and experiencing a true kind of self-love for yourself, if that makes sense, in this next era of your life. I see in this next era of your life you becoming more strong with your boundaries, because it's like you have more love for yourself, so you are balancing out that love for self and love for others is what I see. Speaking your truth more, expressing your emotions more, not being afraid to show that vulnerable side of you. So it is kind of similar to pile number 1. But I also just see you being more in the heart space in this next era of your life, and you taking baby steps towards seeing your full potential and shining like a star, your star qualities like I mentioned. I see this next era or phase of your life having a lot of movement is what I see. I see you being a lot more motivated to kind of work on yourself or work on your dreams is what I see here, and take baby steps towards your dreams, focusing on the step in front of you, but feeling a lot more motivation and passion for life, but also for your dreams and creating your dreams and patiently creating each day what you want to do. Okay, so I see a lot more motivation, I see a lot more movement there. I see you kind of taking baby steps towards success, towards being your best self is what I see. Like yourself that shines the most is what I see here. That's your next era. And I see in this next era of your life you also becoming more playful, more light-hearted, but also becoming more strong in who you are and your boundaries and speaking your truth, but also loving yourself more and accepting yourself more and having more love for others. I see a lot of like growth in your romantic connections and friendship connections and just connections in general. I see that adding to this next era or phase of your life. You feeling a lot more at home in yourself, in your body, in life itself, if that makes sense. So that was your reading, my pile number 2s. I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! Hi there, my pile number 3s. If you chose this green Aventurine crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at your next era, who you're going to become in this next era, phase of your life, and what your kind of story is going to be like. You chose the card Paradigm Shift with Air. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards, but please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave the rest. And please also be aware when we're talking about future energies, we're reading the future into a possibility based on the current energies, okay? So if there's anything you do like from this reading, you can take on the information as you wish. But if you don't like what you hear, you can always change this for your future, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards now. Okay, for your cards, we have the Sound of the Universe, funny that I hear the birds outside as I say the sound of the universe. That's interesting. The next card we have is Water with the Overflow. The next card we have is Freedom. And for the last oracle card we have Mount Shasta. Next we have, for your tarot cards, we have the Five of Pentacles, we have the Star, we have the Six of Wands, we have the King of Wands, and lastly we have the Page of Cups. Okay, my pile number 3s, now that we have your cards laid out, I see exactly who you're going to be in this next era of your life. Okay, so first off, I'm picking up a lot of energies that in this next era or phase of your life, you're going to feel a lot more happier, a lot more free in the sense of, I'm picking up financial freedom, but also freedom in the sense where you can travel, you can just go wherever you want with the Mount Shasta card, kind of just like this free energy of exploring the world. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean travel, but kind of like exploring the world, exploring your own world, but also feeling free to kind of create the life of your dreams and explore whatever you want to go towards, if that makes sense. So I'm picking up like a big energy shift for you in this next era or phase of your life where you're gonna look back, I'm feeling like 2 to 5 years from now, and you're going to really see how much your reality has changed. But I feel like in a good way, where you're looking back and you're really finding peace in all the change that has happened, all the shifts that have happened in your life, in this next era of your life. So like I mentioned, I see you being a lot more free. I see you living more out loud and kind of feeling free to be yourself, free to go after the things you want and create the things you want in your life, but also free to explore the world and the reality you have and live in. So I see in this next era or phase of your life, you know, feeling a lot more happier, feeling like you can just express yourself in the ways you want, express yourself by doing whatever you want and not like caring about what other people say, things like that, kind of just surrendering to that beauty of life. I see in this next era or phase of your life, you kind of letting go of a lot of fears that hold you back from really living the life of your dreams, really being free, like this kind of energy. So I see a lot of like fears being released in this next phase or era of your life. You becoming more in tune with yourself and who you want to be in this lifetime, and taking the decisive action towards that and focusing on that. Like I see you becoming more focused on what you desire to create in this next phase of your life, becoming more courageous in truly being yourself and expressing yourself and going after and creating the things you want in this lifetime. I see this next era or phase of your life is going to be very much like you having powerful beliefs or powerful belief in yourself, or kind of changing your values or reevaluating your values, you finding your own sense of personal power, where you courageously go after and create the life of your dreams, but you're also courageously being yourself authentically and feeling free while doing so. I'm also seeing a lot of freedom within your emotions in this next era or phase of your life, where you kind of have let go of a lot, and in this next era of your life you've made more time for peace and for kind of like this energy of going with the flow, but also a lot more energy towards happiness. So, with this deep healing that is happening for you right now, I feel for like this life and also past life healing that your angels are sending you. There's this feeling of that healing influences this next era or phase of your life where you're able to feel a lot more free with your emotions. You're not feeling like something emotionally is holding you down. Okay, so I see a lot of freedom in sense of your emotions, you going with the flow with life, receiving more, being open to receiving more beautiful emotions, if that makes sense, but also appreciating the deep healing that came with that allows you to now be free in this next era of your life. And with going with the flow, I also mean like freedom in the sense of like perhaps you are more successful in this next era or phase of your life with the Six of Wands. You're attracting more money, attracting more wealth is something I'm seeing heavily. A lot more abundance is coming towards you in this next phase or era of your life, but it doesn't just have to be physical abundance, but I do see that coming in the form of physical abundance, but also like abundance of joy, abundance of pleasure, abundance of peace, abundance of freedom. And for a lot of you, I see your schedules freeing up in the sense where you don't have as much on your shoulders in the sense of like physical work. It's not to say that you won't be busy in this next phase of your life, but you'll have a lot more freedom in the way like, okay, I just want to work 4 hours today. I can do that. Like, perhaps some of you are business owners and you can create your own schedule, or perhaps some of you are finding success in this next era of your life where perhaps there's a change in your career or you getting a promotion where you're able to have a lot more free time towards yourself and your hobbies and your passions, if that makes sense. Towards travel, because we see, a card about travel here. So a lot of you are going to have enough money to be able to have beautiful experiences for travel and for, just going out and exploring your local communities and going out to restaurants, going out, wherever you want to and not worrying about money or spending. I see you being financially free in this next era of your life. But also free in the sense of like, I don't have to have so much work that I'm constantly stressed out. It's what I'm seeing here. So I see you being a lot more magnetic to your desires, towards what you want to create in life, and you being a lot more joyful, but also like, I keep seeing travel. I keep seeing travel for you guys, my pile number threes. Like, I keep getting travel and you kind of going and exploring the world. Like, that's the feeling I keep getting. So I'm just going to take that message. Okay. So yeah, I see in this next phase or era of your life, a lot has healed within your heart. I see a lot of inner child healing, like where you're nurturing your inner child and healing your inner child and nurturing yourself in this next era or phase of your life, where you've kind of surrendered more to your emotions and finding that sense of home within yourself, finding that sense of love within yourself, but also giving love to that part of you that never quite received that love. And I see that being very healing for you in this next era of your life, but I see that happening from now till this next era. Okay. I see a lot of heart healing happening. towards the phases of your life that you never really quite felt loved or felt rejected, felt abandoned. There's this feeling of like you sending love and healing towards those parts of yourself, okay, that didn't feel quite loved or accepted on this earth, or didn't quite feel like you had everything you needed, giving yourself, that part of yourself, what you lacked in childhood or teenage years. And I see that being very healing. I see a lot of healing happening towards the challenges you've experienced, where in this next phase of your life, you're no longer seeing a challenge as a heavy burden, but you're seeing it as something like, I can find a solution to this. I can free myself of this challenge. Nothing is going to hold me down in this next phase of my life. That's the energy I see. I really see you reclaiming your power in this next phase or era of your life, where you're feeling more powerful and owning your own power, being more courageous to create the life of your dreams. I see that happening, and you just feeling a lot more at home within yourself. Maybe for some of you, I also see you relocating homes, or like to a bigger home, or to somewhere else in the world. Like if you feel drawn to moving somewhere else in the world, I see that happening for you. So I see a lot of change happening in your internal and external world in this next era of your life. And I see you kind of being patient towards that change that happens in your life, where there's a lot of infinite possibilities, but you're in this next era of your life, I see you being more patient towards that, but also attracting a lot more luck, and like patiently waiting for that infinite kind of love to come through, for those infinite kind of experiences of freedom to come through, for those infinite luck to come through. Like that's the energy I feel here. There's a lot of infinite possibilities in this next era or phase of your life. I feel like you are going to be more magnetic to the things you desire, and you're just going to attract things to you with ease and luck. You're going to be like a lucky charm in this next era or phase of your life. And now I'm hearing that TikTok sound, like I'm so lucky. I don't know how it goes, but that's what I'm hearing. So yeah, I just feel like in this next era or phase of your life, you're just going to feel a lot more free. Like nothing is holding you down. Nothing is holding you back in life anymore. You've awakened to your full potential and your full power, and you're listening to the guidance from the universe. Some of you may have, with the sound of the universe, like, you know, when you travel, maybe, you know, because when I was laying out the cards, when I laid down the sound of the universe card, I was hearing birds chirping. So some of you may be out in nature more in this next era of your life, where you're just at peace and you're listening to the sound of nature, the sound of, you know, a waterfall. I'm just hearing like a waterfall now, clairaudiently, you know, like going to the beach, hearing children playing and laughing and just enjoying the sound of the universe. Or maybe having a lot more music in your life, where you're just like, even if it's not physical music, it's like life feels like music to your ears, if that makes sense. You're feeling more joyful in this next era or phase of your life. And I see that very heavily. Or for some of you, I see you having the gift of clairaudience and listening to the universe more, listening to your own intuition more. Like some of you are clairaudient in the sense that you hear spirit, or like spirit comes through to you in sounds, like through other people, through music. That's the kind of feeling I get. Or if you watch a movie, there's a feeling of spirit speaking to you through something there, about your dreams with the star card, about your hopes and your desires. and to stay hopeful towards your biggest dreams, because the star, also represents miracles. So I see a lot of miracles playing out for you in this next era or phase of your life, where you are really listening to your intuition on how to reach your dreams and your goals and your desires, and becoming a lot more successful in love, in career, in everything you do is what I see here. So listening to yourself and not letting anyone tell you that your dreams aren't valid in any way, because I see a lot of things changing in your life, in your internal and external world, in this next era or phase of your life, where it doesn't even like, you listening to this reading, it might sound too good to be true, but even what I'm saying here doesn't even cover everything that you're going to have in this next era of your life. Like, I just feel like you're going to be very abundantly blessed by the universe, if that makes sense. And I don't just mean that in physical wealth. I just mean that in like your dreams, your desires, all coming true in this next era or phase of your life, where, like I said in the beginning of the reading, 2 to 5 years from now, you're going to look back at this and just see how much your life has changed. And if you were to tell you right now how much your life has changed from future you, then you right now would not believe it, is the feeling I get. So that is what I see. I see a lot of love flowing into you and overflowing in this next phase of your life, like you pouring love into yourself and healing into yourself, where you can overflow that love onto others. And like I said, the heart healing that has come from this phase of your life from now to this next era is going to aid in your heart energies, if that makes sense. So in the next phase or era of your life, I see you becoming a lot more loving, but in the sense of like, I'm pouring this love into myself, I'm nurturing myself, I'm loving myself first, pouring into me, and then I'm overflowing onto others, okay? Because we can't pour from an empty cup. So I see you really not becoming more selfish in the sense of you don't give to others, but more selfish in the sense of, I'm going to pour into me first so that I can overflow onto others, so that I don't have to pour from an empty cup. And I see love and romance being a very successful part of this next era of your life. A lot of love and romance, but also a lot of you meeting your soul family, your tribe, people you just feel really connected to by the heart, and the love there is pure, is what I'm seeing. And it's like that love just overflows, and it feels even like so big for your heart that it just overflows. So I see a lot of you meeting soulmates, your soul tribe, people that really feel like family to you, people that really feel you have a lot of love for them. I see that very heavily in this next era or phase of your life. I just see you just living life, feeling free, being happy, feeling a lot more love, feeling healed, shining like a star, as we see in the star card, in all your talents, in everything you do. You're gaining a lot more success in this area of your life, in all aspects of your life, but you're also shining and getting recognition for whatever you do in this next era or phase in your life. Whatever you put work into in terms of your career grows, and it's like you put and pour love into whatever you do, and it grows into something beautiful, where you really shine like a star and get recognition for that. I'm seeing in this next phase of your life you feeling a lot more passionate, a lot more motivated, a lot more courageous towards creating your dreams and desires, but also feeling more playful, finding the beauty in life and the laughter in life, if that makes sense, and living out loud, expressing yourself more, expressing your truth more, following that curiosity towards your dreams and desires. Like I mentioned, travel, a lot of luck, a lot of you just feeling emotionally balanced and free, but free in every single way, in your finances, in your emotions, in your day-to-day life. So yeah, I do see a lot of change here happening for you in this next era of your life, my pile number threes. And like I said, you're not going to believe this change that happened. It's going to feel unbelievable to you. Even you listening to this may sound unbelievable, but this is really what I see in your reading and really what I feel in this reading. So I see a lot of good positive things for you in this next era or phase of your life, my pile number threes. So I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye!